So I'm doing a quick little video here on how to connect the MasterSounds effects to the AlphaTheta Euphonia mixer. For those who know, the Euphonia has sends on each channel right here, as well as a master effects loop, and it comes with ridiculous amount of effects, at least for a rotary mixer, that are excellent. But there's a reason why they put these functions on there, because why not, right? We all want more sometimes. And I already had this unit because I own the MasterSounds, which I still love, by the way. I'm not going to get into, which one sounds better or anything like that. They sound different, but they're both excellent. But I always love this unit. I love the sound of it, love what it does, love the filter. What I don't love is it doesn't have auto BPM. I know that there's a new version, an MK2 version of this effects unit, that apparently one of the effects does have auto BPM. I can't comment on it, I've never tried it. But for me, it's not enough. To me, they should have put it on all the delay, all the time-based effects. It would be better if they were all auto BPM. I understand they're trying to keep everything analog, but let's be real, this thing is not analog, it's digital anyway. So anyway, I digress from that. Let's get to why we're here. Hooking this thing up is a little different than hooking it up directly to a MasterSounds mixer. They don't use send return cables or split Y cables when you use it with the MasterSounds. Comes with its own set of cables, and they're pretty standard balanced cables that come with it, and it works extremely well. Of course, it's made to work with it. This, in order to hook it up to this mixer, or probably any other mixer with return send capabilities, requires you to use return send cables. Okay, and I'm going to show you what these are. Lower the volume. They're all the same, even though they're different brands here. But if you see, one side has a balance return, okay? Has two rings on it, okay? That's the one side that goes into the effects unit, at least one of them. That one's going into the left, and I have the identical type of cable into the right. Now let me show you the back. I'm going to carefully pull out my mixer here. So the other side of the cable has two connections, okay? And they are not balanced. You can see they have one ring, okay? What's happening is it's taking the signal out of the mixer, running it through one of these wires into the unit. The unit is spitting out the affected audio back through the cable into the other side, okay? This is very common on studio type mixers, at least back in the day. Analog mixers used to have inserts, what they call them, and return send cables were used on those inserts. This side of the cable would go into the recording console, and the other side would go into an effects unit or a patch bay that had the effects units hooked up to it. And that's how they were able to use send returns on those type of units. So it's very common, but not so much in DJ mixers. So the point is, though, there are two, with the MasterSounds, you have actually two different audio paths. You have one that affects the master, okay? And that's really just for the filter, this big filter. What's cool about the filter is it has a resonance feature, this resonance knob, and you can adjust the resonance. And it also has a distortion, so you can make it sound really clean, and you can add some dirt, and you can go all the way to like nuclear bomb with it, all the way up. So this thing is awesome. Much different than what the isolator does. I use it a lot to cut the bass, especially with my MasterSounds. But again, remember, that's on the master, not per channel. Okay, it's on the full stereo output of the mixer, and I'll give a little demonstration of that in a minute. Now I have the other side, again, the same type of cables. These are just a different brand, but these are return send cables, and they're going into the send returns in the back of the mixer. And I'll show you that also again. A little difficult to pull everything out, but this is the return section of the mixer. All right, and they're pretty much hooked up the same way. All right, so I'm gonna play a little beat here so you can see how it works. In order to use this unit, number one, this should be flashing. This is just the way it works on the Euphonia. You have to hit this master insert button. If it's not flashing, you're not gonna hear anything. If it's flashing, it will have the effect. Then you have to have this knob switched to external, which means you're using an external unit and not the internal effects. Pretty simple. I'm going to play a little beat here and just give a demonstration. Now I'm going to use the filter. All the way up. And you can hear that resonance in there. If I shut the resonance off, it's kind of a plain filter. I turn it all the way up. You start hearing like the vowels, A, E, I, O, U, right? All right, so that's that. Now I'm gonna mess with let's start with the delay. Then we could hook up one of the, what I used to like a lot was the reverb on this. The reverb on this is super lush. There's like 3 different kinds. And I used to do that a lot when I wanted like a bass drum hit. Turn down all the highs, maybe the mids, and I get one of these, right? So when you're mixing, you're in a breakdown and you want to add that drama, I might have another track going, and then in the breakdown I'd have my other track that I was gonna mix in, but I would just throw in those bass hits and adds drama. With this mixer, you don't really need to do that because I could do that with the knob and sending the effects with the send. Kind of does the same thing, but it's good to have different flavors. I really love the effects on the Euphonia. They're very dramatic, it's cool, but sometimes I feel like they're a little too bright. With this, I can add, let's say, a reverb, and then I can have this, which changes the tone. Hear it more with a delay. When I turn this up, you hear the delays affecting more of the highs, and then as I go down, it's affecting more of the lows, and incorporating everything. Then you have the parameter control, which adjusts the rate, minimum, max. Okay. Now the one thing that I will say that everybody should be aware of is this sounds beautiful with a MasterSounds effects mixer. It also sounds very good with this mixer, but this section, the delay and reverb section, are not as dramatic. They're not as loud as I could get it with a MasterSounds. With a MasterSounds, I could crank it up to nuclear bomb levels and you know, to the point where you wouldn't even want to do that most likely, unless you were playing some kind of hard techno or something. With this, I could have it basically, that's about as high. As you see this, I got this send knob all the way up, and you hear it fine. You hear it fine, it's great, but it's not as loud as I could get it with the mixer it's meant to be paired up with. Okay, just so we know that. To some it will make a difference. To me, on this mixer, it does not. I also had it hooked up the same way with an ARS mixer, the ARS 9100. And with that one, it was even worse. The filter was perfect. Filter's always perfect. Works well with the master send and return. But the delays and reverbs were super low on that mixer. So to me, it was only barely usable. I made it work, but after a while, I got annoyed with it. And there was some other issues with that mixer, which is why I wound up selling it and going back actually to MasterSounds. All right, so this video is supposed to be quick, but I talk a lot, and I like to demonstrate kind of a little more detail if possible. Have any questions, just hit me up in the comments. All right, and good luck to all my fellow DJs out there. Happy mixing.